All right, so we are live. I'm going to share the link in the comments. Brilliant. So we are live, and please, guys, let me know if you can hear and see clearly what I'm saying. It's another Learn Italian live session. In these sessions, we learn Italian as much as possible, and we usually stick to one piece of content, something we tackle something specifically. But sometimes we also, I'm getting some notifications. Sometimes we also respond to comments, and so depending on what is asked, we might actually take a detour or cover multiple topics in one single session. So as we wait for some more people to turn up, I would like to talk about what we're going to be talking about in this session. I have an idea. So if you don't have any questions, or when I'm done answering questions, I would like to use some Italian sentences, some examples of Italian sentences. These are very simple sentences. And in these sentences, there will be one mistake. And I would like you to try and find out what the mistake is and potentially even correct the mistake. These mistakes, the mistakes in this session, will have something to do with the prepositions that are very simple, short words that we use in English, we use them in Italian. Di, a, da, in, con, su, per, tra, fra. So this is not me going crazy, but this is the list of all the prepositions. They are sort of learned, they're usually learned as a little song in or a rhymed list in school. So we should all be familiar with these prepositions. They are super useful if we want to speak Italian fluently. So I'm going to give people another 30 seconds to turn up, like the video, and also come up with some questions. In absence of questions, I'm going to prepare some examples. You will see the examples in the chat. Obviously, I will pronounce the examples, the sentences, the words in Italian. You should be able, by hearing them, you should be able to write it down. You shouldn't need to see it written. Italian is a very easy language to pronounce. There is a one-to-one correspondence between text, spelling, and pronunciation. But I will also write it down in the chats. Right. So okay. So I don't see any questions. Please, someone let me know if you can see and hear well. I've just posted in the chat one example of a super simple sentence in Italian. This sentence is wrong. Mario va da Milano. Mario va da Milano. Mark, buongiorno. Buongiorno a te. Penso che sia mattina dove tu sei. So we, for the people that have just turned up, I am going to supply some examples of sentences, and each sentence will have one or more mistakes. I would like you guys to see if you can spot the mistakes and if you can correct them. First sentence, Mario va da Milano. Buongiorno. Ciao a tutti, Amedeo. Ciao, buongiorno from Tennessee. Wow, Tammy. Buongiorno. Buongiorno è scritto come lo ha scritto Mark. Buongiorno. So we don't have the J. J is actually a foreign letter. So it's used for foreign words. So Italians are fully aware that J is a letter, but it's not. So usually when you make the sound J in English, in Italian for J would you would need G and then I. Of course, G and I is G, then G, I, and sorry, G, E is J, etc. And then, of course, some vowels, for example, O, if you put G and O together, it forms go as opposed to jo. So you have to have G-I-O to make jo. Buongiorno. Okay, so does anybody know why the sentence is wrong? Appreciate you've just turned up. It's a very simple exercise. We want to spot the mistake in the sentence, or if you don't understand the sentence, then just let me know and I can come up with another example. Think about it, put a like on this video, and try to come up with oh, vai. So that was a suggestion. Vai, Mario, vai da Milano. No. Good attempt. Of course, it could be me speaking to someone. So, hey, Mario, do this or go there. No, in this case, it's a description. So Mario goes somewhere. But there is a mistake. So the mistake is not in the verb. The verb is fine. So we have Mario. Mario could be Luisa, Maria, Giovanni, any name. And then we have a verb, va, which means goes, he goes, she goes. It's conjugated in the third person singular, present. So that's fine. Mario va is fine. So where is the mistake? If you guys give up, I can give you the answer. I can explain it quickly, and then we can move on to another example. But I think di Milano. Mario va di Milano. Okay, so Mark, Tammy, you're both getting closer to the problem. So obviously Milano is a word, and that's fine. That's the name of a city. So Mario va. Okay, Mario is going somewhere. Mario goes somewhere. Milano, that's also fine. However, Mario va a Milano. So the problem is in the preposition, right? We've seen that there are just a few prepositions in Italian, just like there are in English. Di, a, da, in, con, su, per, tra, fra. These are all the prepositions. In this case, we want to say Mario goes to Milan, right? Mario goes to Milan. Mario va a Milano. We need to a Milano. Mario va da Milano doesn't work because we have a city. we have the name of a city, Milano, could be Roma, could be, I know, I only know two names. No, I'm joking. Could be Genova, could be any city, Torino, any city. And that's it. I only know those five. But it could be any city. So we have to say, go to that city. Mario va a Milano. So di Milano, not really. I mean, it's a different preposition of Milan. I'll give you another example. And meanwhile, if you want to ask me some questions, this is a good time. I'm just typing and thinking at the same time a second example. Very similar. So there is a preposition and there is a mistake. And I would like you guys to understand the sentence and correct it if possible. Okay. Second example. Giulia mangia di amici e parenti. Now, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to make sense, right? It doesn't make sense because there is a mistake. It's one word. It's wrong. I'll give you about 30 seconds to ask me questions or just develop some kind of understanding of this sentence. And if you can, when you can, try and see if you can find the mistake in this sentence. There's only one mistake. Take your time, 30 seconds. Okay, so we have one attempt so far. Mark, well done. Right. Okay, Tammy, con amici. Wabina, bentornato. Con. All right, so this has been very successful. Well done. So the sentence was longer, but you are spot on. So we get it. Giulia mangia. She eats. Giulia is eating. And then friends and family. Parenti is a false friend. They're called false friends because it seems like they mean something, but they mean something else. So not only they don't help you, but they actually have a detrimental effect. Knowing your home language or knowing English has a detrimental effect, meaning that you can go off piste. So parenti means family and relatives. So con amici e parenti. She eats with, con, dia da in con super tra fra, con amici e parenti. So we use the preposition to make to build a sentence that has not just a basic meaning like you love him, she hates her, whatever. So we don't have just a direct object. We have prepositions, these small words that are so useful and allow us to increase the complexity of our speech. So, Giulia mangia con amici e parenti. So she eats with, so together with, friends and relatives. Great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and think up a third and probably slightly more difficult example. Right. So feel free to interrupt, feel free to ask random questions as always. I don't mind. Feel free to like the video if you're liking the session, and so that other people can find it as well. And also feel free to think about this last example. Sorry, last example, this example. It's not going to be the last one. And see if you can find the mistake. So, Carmine parla con calcio e pallavolo. Carmine parla. Carmine is a name. So it ends in E, which is not common, but it doesn't matter. It's still a name. It's an Italian name. And parla is the third person singular of the verb parlare, to speak. The other two words are perhaps a little bit more nuanced, meaning that if you don't know about sports, you might not know the meaning of them. Let me know if you need any help in translating, or if you think that you know enough, or if there's an issue. Of course, there is an issue with this sentence. All right, Mark is again attempting to answer this question. First, okay, we have one attempt. Are we going to have more? Is he right? Is he wrong? Okay, so I'm going to explain. This particular example was slightly more difficult than the previous one because parla means he or she speaks. Now, depending on the preposition that we use, we have a different sentence. For example, parla con lei. He speaks to her, right? Speaks with her, literally. Con means with. So the verb parlare can be used with the preposition with. It can also be used with the preposition di, of. She speaks of you. He speaks of you. So Carmine speaks of something. So we can speak with someone, or we can speak of something, etc. So some verbs have the ability to mix with different prepositions, not just one. Parlare, to speak, is one of these verbs. And by the way, in English, you have many verbs like talk, chat, speak, etc. Say, tell. In Italian, you have much fewer. Parlare, to speak, can be used in many, many more situations that you wouldn't use it in English. So very useful verb, parlare. And it's also regular. Carmine parla con. So parla con could actually make sense. But then we have calcio. Calcio means football or soccer. And it can actually mean, it means kick. It means kick. That, that's the word for kick. I kick you. I give you a kick. Ti do un calcio. But it also means football. Now, calcio e pallavolo. Pallavolo means volleyball, right? So the two words together make it clear that the first word, calcio, in this case, in this context, because of how the sentence is built, of course, means football. It doesn't mean kick, right? Do you like kick and volleyball? Doesn't make sense, right? Do you prefer kick or basketball? It doesn't make any sense. So it's clear from the context that it means football. So Carmine parla di calcio e pallavolo. Mark was 100% right. Amedeo is saying, well, riguardo il calcio. Okay, so regarding this or that, regarding football, absolutely. So specifying that we are talking about something, right? So Carmine talks or speaks about football and volleyball. This is the meaning of the sentence. And again, we have to know, in this case, we had to know the words calcio e pallavolo in order to guess that the preposition to be used should be con, sorry, di, not con. Parla di calcio e pallavolo. I could also say Carmine parla con me, so with me, di calcio e pallavolo. So in this case, the sentence would be more complex. Let me type it in. Carmine parla con me di calcio e pallavolo. So in this case, we have different constituents to the sentence, right? We have subject, we have parla, which is the verb, and then we have two bits of information. Con me, so with whom? With me. And about what? Di calcio e pallavolo. And I'm not gonna bore you with all the sentence constituents part, because that's hugely important, but it takes a long time to talk about. So I am going to go ahead, and if you guys don't have any more questions, I would like to ask you one question. Do you like this kind of setup where I basically write wrong Italian sentences and ask you to fix them? Or do you think it's too difficult or a waste of time or too easy? Let me know in the comments or here in the chat. Meanwhile, I'm going to prepare a little bit more difficult example to see if anyone can understand it and fix it. It's going to take me about a minute to think. Okay, so we got some feedback. Perfect. Ottimo. Okay, there's no objection to the direction. Okay, brilliant. All right, thanks, guys. Awesome. Ottimo, bravo Amedeo. Oh, bravo. I believe he's a guy. Bravo. Um, so the third example, fourth example, I lost count. Is not very much. It's not very difficult. Not more difficult than the ones we've seen before. Um, Please feel free. Take a look and tell me if you can spot the mistake, and if you can, try and think about the fix for this one. Yeah, it is actually a little bit more difficult. Mi dispiace. It's fine. We are. I get a sense that we are a nice crew, hard to offend, and we're all learning, so it's good. It's good stuff. I like this. Um, right. Um, so, sorry, I didn't read the example. Sara è una ragazza tra grande esperienza. Sara è una ragazza tra grande esperienza. Hey, thank you for all your hard work. God bless you, my idol. Saeed. Saeed, thank you very much. I don't know if I deserve all your nice comments and words, but I'll take it. I'll take it on the chin. Thanks. Thanks for being here. And you can also give it a go. You can also give a go to the last example. So we have an example. There is a mistake. We need to find the mistake. And this is actually a sentence that is, I would say, advanced Italian. Not because there's anything difficult, but it's not a trivial sentence like, the dog barks. It's and also there is no close relationship here between English and Italian. So the people that are really good at English, and I know there's some of you, will have less help in this particular sentence. That doesn't mean that you need to feel sorry or something. Actually, it's a good occasion. It's a good opportunity for learning. So Sara is a noun, right? Sara. Sara could be Maria or anything else. È una ragazza. She is a girl, right? This is the main sentence. And then we have something else. Tra grande esperienza. Con molta esperienza. Con. So this is interesting. This is where the native speakers learn from the non-native speakers. I had something else in my mind. So I was just going to say, Quabina, you're wrong. Ayush, you're wrong. Mark, you're wrong. But actually, you're right. So obviously, this is not a... there are cases in every language where you can use one word or another word, and it's still working the same, or maybe it's working different, but so there's a different meaning, but they're both versions that are correct. This is one of these cases. So made up the sentence. I thought Sara è una ragazza di grande esperienza. Oh, and by the way, Fiore 23. Di grande esperienza. So this is correct. Okay, this is correct. It's a correct sentence. However, Sara è una ragazza con grande esperienza. It's also correct. So in Italian, you can use both in this case. And so you were all right. Con grande esperienza. Sarà una ragazza con molta esperienza. Great. Mark, you used a different word, but it's absolutely spot on. So this is good. You probably wrote it down thinking as opposed to reading the same word that I used. That's great. So con grande esperienza, con molta esperienza. Of course, it means with a lot of experience. Of great experience is something that might be maybe old-fashioned or maybe just plain wrong in English, but it does work in Italian quite well. Di grande esperienza. Or I'll give you another example. Questa è una faccenda di poco conto. Okay, we finished, by the way. This is the end of the session. I'll just give you a bonus sentence here. This is a sentence that's very Italian. So it's not exactly literal. So I want to walk you through it. So this is a topic or something that happened. Di poco conto. Poco conto literally means small count. So it's something that isn't very important. As you can see, we have again di, the by far the most important and common preposition in Italian. Di, of, used in many different places in different ways. Oppure Sara è una ragazza dalla grande esperienza. All right, so yeah, I think we're dealing with native speakers here. So I'm being oppure Sara è una ragazza dalla grande esperienza. Dalla grande esperienza. Absolutely. Yeah, it sounds right. So we can use different prepositions. Remember, di, a, da, in, con, super, tra, fra. These are all the simple prepositions that we have in Italian. And in this case, there is also the complex preposition da plus la, dalla. But I don't want to get things too confusing. We can always stick to what's simpler and then build our knowledge from that. I hope this session has been fun. I got some good feedback from you guys earlier, and we've stepped through a few examples of escalating difficulty, and the last one was, believe me, quite difficult, even if you all got it right, because the sentence wasn't straightforward. If you can think of any other examples that are difficult, or if there's something along the lines of what we've done that caused you difficulties, for the university students, you can get in touch with me directly. Everyone else, you can just send me a chat or a comment on YouTube, and maybe next week or in the future we'll take a look. This is small things. Oh yeah, Mark, I think he's referring to the last example. Yes, sounds about right. I mean, it seems that the meaning is exactly the same. Yeah. I think I've gone through all the comments. It's over 30 minutes. We can close this down. I'm gonna leave you 20 seconds if you guys have a question. Otherwise, we can call it quits for today, and we're gonna meet next Sunday at 2 p.m. GMT, same time, same place. All right, if you don't have any more questions, have a great week. Don't forget to thumbs up the video if you haven't yet, and feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, have a great week. Study a lot of Italian and come up with with questions and examples at the next session. Ciao a tutti e grazie di tutto. Ciao Cobina, ciao Amedeo, grazie di tutto. Alla prossima settimana. Alla prossima settimana. Ok, chiudo adesso. Ciao.